Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Deadfire with me, Break It Dawn. Let's report to Captain Aldis.
Are you ready to ride?
Allow me to tip my cup to a beautiful friendship and a fine captain, aye. But what can I do, you lovesome?
About Ferrante.
Got something for me, Dove?
She leans forward with interest, the corner of her lips curving wickedly.
I'm all ears.
Ferrante's interest in Crookspur's slave trade involves the Valian Trading Company.
Well, well, ain't that a fine thing to know? It makes sense for certain.
Her eyes narrow.
If you've evidence of his involvement, keep it close. We may be able to use it to our benefit later. Oh, aye, you've brought me a juicy tidbit this time. Now I'll be after it like a shark on a blood trail.
With a pleased expression, she tosses you a small sack of coins.
As you wish, Dove. I am happily and wholeheartedly at your disposal. At least until I get bored.
She winks her icy blue eye. Show her the Angeliero. Like my sword?
That I do, Loveson. A real powerful one you got there. Where in Aora did you happen to find it?
She didn't ask what it is, she asked where I got it. I got it from Isir the Baratheon, the priest who killed Lucia Ravan.
Think Ravan will be wanting it back then? I know I do.
She taps her chin in thought.
Hold on to that, Loveson. You've given me a thought as to how I might track the floating hangman. I'll tell you further when I know more myself.
And Crookspur's a done deal.
Aye, and well done too. Most of the prisoners have pledged to cruise in my fleet. You did a fine thing, Captain. Don't think I'll soon forget it.
She rubs her thumb over the swollen net around her neck, miscolored eyes looking you up and down. Her lips quirk in a sly smile.
You're real good for business. So, here's to hoping our wakes cross again someday. Until then, you can trust that I'll be in touch when I need you.
She tips her hat obligingly, then downs a goblet of God's Killer rum that had been sitting on the desk behind her. We got Blackblade's Hood. Grants Hawkeye, +1 perception, and 5% of hits converted to crits with ranged weapons. And Duelist, +10% action speed with daggers, rapiers, and stilettos. This tattered hood was once worn by a notorious killer who once prowled the streets of Defiance Bay, ambushing aristocratic men under the cover of darkness. The few witnesses to the deeds of this mysterious figure described him as polite and well-dressed, save for his blood-caked hood. He always allowed his victims to ready their weapon before setting upon them. If his target drew a pistol, he drew his own. If they drew a blade, he met steel with steel. He was a skilled and brutal duelist, dispatching his opponents quickly and without flourish before vanishing into the shadows. The gentleman killer became known as Lord Blackblade to the populace, and he terrorized the denizens of Defiance Bay for over 5 years, leaving a pile of corpses in his wake. While the Lord was eventually caught and put down by a task force of the dozens, his identity was never revealed. Rumors abound of the hooded killer's true name. Some maintain Blackblade was the bastard son of the Duke himself, and the palace concealed this fact to prevent a scandal. Others believe he was nothing more than a common cutthroat putting on airs, a sadist with a quick blade and a taste for blood. And it matches his outfit.
I shall put it to good use.
And now we can go to Nekataka and speak to Castle and Itsura.
Right.
Whoops. Alright, onward to Nekataka. It is inconvenient we can't just travel straight to the Baleen
you
Trading
see
Company
anything you like?
headquarters. I understand why, since they close at night. Which also doesn't make sense. With as concerned with their business as they are, you'd think they'd have people manning the offices 24/7. Which I guess the guards do. Other people should be there too.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Alright, Castle, I've got, well, good news for me, bad news for you.
Watcher, what can I do for you?
Thought you might want to know I took care of the business with Master Core for you.
Ah, yes, that business. What became of it?
Castle busies himself with polishing his spectacles. The slaves are free.
I see. I'm certain you had your reasons.
Castle ducks his head, momentarily flustered. Does the Continent Chassis know you're helping with the Principe? Sorry, helping the Principe.
Well, that is, the Kanta is kept well apprised of all of our dealings.
Castle squirms.
Is this a matter of money? Or, look, it's an unpleasant business, I grant you that. But the money must come from somewhere.
Next time you're faced with this choice, reconsider.
I see. Then may they come to happy fates. Certainly the company's fate is no happier for it. What's done is done. Clearly you handled matters as you saw fit. There are worthier tasks ahead of us.
Interesting we still gained positive reputation.
Yeah, right.
I'll gladly take it.
Watcher, what? I'll answer what I can, of course. Now then.
one last stop, and we can leave Nekataka and maybe finish mapping out the Deadfire. We're getting very close. Also, should I have Maya with me when we turn this in? Sorry, we can return to the ship from here. That'll be faster than going back to the tavern, I think.
Verses by the kitchen.
They weren't that bad.
Rhyming Hasanui with kablooey?
I can't think of anything else that goes with Hazanui.
Me neither. That's why I leave epics to the lore college.
Criticism is easier than creation.
Clear skies.
He tilts his head as he watches you, his eyes unblinking. The slavers are gone from Crookspur.
Justice at last. We've done a good thing. You've done a good thing.
He clasps you by the shoulders and tries out a warm smile. It almost looks real.
Please accept this on behalf of the Hazanui and myself. You've been invaluable to us.
He watches your expression as he presents your payment, deciding what to say.
Karu is currently monitoring matters in Sayuka, but I'm certain she'll call on you when she has need of you.
Not so fast. I pass a fleet of Rawatayan ships headed to Crookspur. His careful expression falters, his eyes bulging and mouth slack. The slip only lasts a moment, but it's like seeing a curtain ripple before a gutted and scorched room. He chuckles weakly as he recovers.
Forgive me, I meant no slight to you, but I was not expecting them so soon. I'm sorry I could not tell you about them, but Karu is most protective of her ships, and Nekataka rides with loose tongues.
He's collected himself, but he eyes you warily. What are your ships doing in Crookspur? He fidgets and squirms, looking as though you're about to pull one of his teeth. At last he sighs and spreads his hands.
The Rukapa are our finest warriors, on land or at sea. We had to secure Crookspur against further attacks from the slavers. Or pirates.
He gives you a measured look.
The Principi continue to bicker amongst themselves. And a restless beast is a dangerous one. We must be ready.
It wouldn't look good for you if the rest of the archipelago knew you were moving warships around. He brushes this off with a wave of his hand, but his smile looks strained.
These days, Deadfire is like an old Valian wedding feast. Everyone is obsessed with relative position and quick to take offense. I sent you precisely to avoid the kind of uproar that would arise. Now, what else can I do for you?
After all this time, I still don't understand who you are or what you believe in. He watches you with that blank but thoughtful stare you've come to recognize. In the tiny movement of his eyes, you can see him sizing you up, deciding how much to tell you. At last, he smiles faintly.
Who we are. What does this even mean? Why the search for permanence in a transient existence? One day, our bodies will perish and our souls will return to the wheel. Every word we've ever spoken, everything we've ever known will be forgotten with us.
His expression is one of distant amusement, as though these notions are no more troubling than the far-off clamor of crowds.
But this will remain.
He spreads his hands, surveying the solid, precise stonework in around him. Be all around him?
Prolonging the soul is a fool's errand. Clinging to a grand past is vanity. I want to take part in building something that will last beyond me. That is true immortality.
He smiles, calm satisfaction narrowing the corners of his eyes. Even these things will crumble eventually. He tilts his head. It's almost a concession.
Consider the work of the Engwithans. How much of it stands? How much has shaped our way of life? The key is to build well. But you and I have much to do, and little time to discuss philosophy.
Yeah?
That
Sure.
is true.
Does it suit you, being a soldier? I did well enough at it, but it was never for me.
I like knowing that someone has a plan. Never felt it from the gods.
You ever think, maybe I put my faith in the wrong cause?
Faith is what you feel in a given moment. Like a bird's feathers, it molts from time to time.
Alright, let's head over here. See if we can't clear out the rest of this fog of war. Alright, I guess we'll cut up the western side of this patch. We'll just circle around it and slowly make our way inward. I've seen this before. It's another game of Orland's Head. We'll give it a shot. There's no way I can cheat. Alright, I'm just gonna aim for the ears the rest of the game. That's a load of malarkey. I did very well there, and they still beat me. Let's clear out around the island first. This Millhouse Devils is a stopping ground for travelers and traders to rest their weary legs. Everything you have. Cool. That's all the map that we can explore so far. We've cleared out all these islands except for Hasongo itself. So we'll do that next, and then we can check out this island over here. So, Ukaizo is most definitely up here. I can't imagine people actually think Ukaizo's lost if there's a section of the ocean you can't explore.
Yeah? Huh? Right. Enemies ahead.
Oh. Not a friendly place.
I don't get this at all. There was a Dawnstar settlement on Hasongo.
Adair kicks at a few splinters of shattered wood strewn across the path.
The place got trampled just the same.
Yeah, I think option 4 is the fairest, because Aethys does seem a little different than the rest of the gods, except for maybe Abaddon, who also sacrificed himself to protect Kith. Let's go with option 4. Well, I don't know, it's tough, because my character doesn't care for the gods. I personally don't either. But we don't know why he's doing what he's doing. And the other gods aren't happy with what he's doing either. I would hear it from him before passing judgment.
I wouldn't mind if he stopped walking for a minute. Let us know what he's up to.
We know where he's at, but we're gonna hold off on that for right now.
I'll tell you one thing. When we catch up to that unstoppable god statue, me and him are gonna have words. Lava better be alright.
Aethys was here all right. And it looks like he was headed to that lighthouse on the western end.
Alright, these Naga are not immune to fire.
I bring your end.
stick.
Right on
I
target.
need to try something else.
I bring your end.
Lavaru, be on sync.
Yeah? Sure.
I am ready. Kwe? I am ready.
Will do.
A ripe stench wafts from the boats. A corpse is pinned behind them.
Word.
Let's go.
Vinga. South. Tell me.
Should've just stayed in the water, buddy.
Tell me. Death take you. Kwe?
Oh, those aren't gunpowder barrels.
Come now, step into the light.
I've got it.
What I wouldn't do for a mongoose right about now.
I am ready. Of course.
Very cool animal companion. A mongoose. An Amoa woman whirls toward you, her eyes wide and wild. Her uniform is disheveled as if from several days' wear, and her breath comes in rapid gasps. With her a few wounded soldiers and a huddle of commoners in dirt-stained farmer smocks.
Shut the door, quick, before the Naga get in.
It's already closed, but her glazed eyes seem to be staring beyond it. The soldiers look up too. Their faces are drawn with pain and exhaustion, their eyes rimmed red and gray. Those creatures want in. This door won't keep them out.
Of course it will. This place is a product of the finest Rawatine engineering, built to weather anything. Nothing's getting through.
Her hand starts to tremble at her side. There's something unusual about her brittle confidence, distant stare, and shaking hand. You saw it plenty of times in your old life as a mercenary. She's suffering the aftershocks of battle.
She is battle-rattled. I believe that is what the Adirans call it. It happens to all soldiers sooner or later. Sometimes you leave the fight, but it doesn't leave you.
Lips pursed, Paladina cranes her head to peer into Zuhira's eyes. She blinks at you as if seeing you for the first time.
Wait, you're not the reinforcements. There are supposed to be reinforcements.
A tide of panic is rising behind her eyes. Calm down and tell me what happened here. She closes her eyes, but her hands are still shaking.
The first thing was the Colossus. It showed up a few days ago, a week ago, I can't be sure. But it was huge. Glowed like luminous Audra.
Her eyes start to glaze over again. She stares into the distance, her mouth slightly open. Her wounded companion, meanwhile, is staring suspiciously at the farmers. They shrink from his gaze. That was Aethys.
That monster that killed our people?
I suppose he does look like a monster from down here.
I told you, Zuhira. The Godhammer scrambled their god, and now he's taking his revenge.
The soldier looks pointedly at the huddled farmers. They look away, cheeks flushed and brows perspiring.
Our gods are above petty motivations like revenge. No, Gon's got a bigger plan for you and me.
Say nothing.
It's no coincidence your Aethys shows up just as Latharn storms out.
He casts a poisonous glare at the farmers. But Zahira is stuck in her memories.
The Colossus was coming right for us. Fleetmaster Ko ordered the gunhawks and cannoneers to take up positions.
She catches herself, breaking off with an ashamed grimace.
They fought. The rest of us were sent below, like cowards.
She looks down at her hands, which she has balled into trembling fists. There is nothing you could do.
What kind of trencher are you?
He spits.
We're sons and daughters of Rauatai. We can handle anything.
She glowers, clenching and unclenching her fists, working herself into a bold, or foolish, bravery once more.
I heard cannon blasts, artillery fire, felt the world shake. Then the water started coming in. We came back up, and the others were... I don't know, like they'd been turned to ash. And the Colossus was walking away. The fort was flooding, where it had broken our walls, and the luminous Audra in the lighthouse had gone dark.
Where's this lighthouse?
On the western side of the fort. It's a true marvel, a monument to Rauataian engineering.
Proof we can tame and transform this place, once we get rid of the scale bellies.
Scale bellies.
The Naga.
Her hand starts to tremble again. She tries to cover it with the other.
They skulked in after, once our walls were down.
He scowls.
Those of us who were left fought, but those cowards moved through the sunken hallways, ambushed us from below.
And those of you who survived ended up here. But Zahira and the angry soldier look away in shame.
Those snakes are little more than animals, no match for trained Rauataian warriors.
He snorts.
When the Hasanui's reinforcements get here, we'll strike back.
He trails off, his gaze distant at the scenarios of bloody vengeance, no doubt playing in his mind's eye.
And build our walls back up so nothing gets through. And double our cannons, so we can destroy that Colossus if it ever comes back.
This is a fortress. Surely you've got some way of fighting the Naga. She bristles.
The finest cannons and bombards in the archipelago. Why, you can barely walk the ramparts without...
As she remembers the destruction outside, her indignation fades away. That distant look returns to her eyes.
There's still one. There must be one. They can't all have been destroyed. But you'll need a trained artillerist to aim it.
She nods, pulling herself back from the brink of panic. Who's Latharn? And what do you have against these farmers?
Dawn stars.
He coughs a wad of bloody phlegm onto the floor.
Fleetmaster Ko hired them to tend the fields that supply the mainland, but they started acting strange, dreaming strange.
You mean dreaming of things to come?
One of them, Latharn, had a row with the Fleetmaster over it, left angry just before the Colossus showed up.
Zahira and the soldiers glare at the farmers, as if this explains everything. And?
You think that's a coincidence?
I think their praying called it here, getting back at us for the Godhammer. Even if not, they definitely know something.
He practically spits at the farmers.
Spitting at our god? You ought to fear for the future of your soul.
Is there anything else?
She stares at you with wide, blank eyes. Who are you?
Zahira, assistant quartermaster.
She crosses her arms over her chest in a perfunctory salute. Farewell.
Don't go back out there. You'll be safe here until reinforcements arrive.
Her throat makes a dry clicking sound as she swallows.
Just stay away from the water. Damn scale bellies are hiding down there. They'll ambush if you get close.
Sometimes you can see them, if you look carefully.
She stares off again, gazing at nothing. So speak to those folks after, it looks like. So we'll revisit all these guys next time, and then we'll continue through Hasongo. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.